Places exist before time was a thought, before thought was a reality. We all carry a consciousness of an infinite field without beginning or end, a spiritual dimension embodying all existence of both seen and unseen. We are hoping to provide some insight with some history and environment to bring together a communal experience of rebirth. Easter Island is one of the oldest representations of this eternal light field dimension, this place of rebirth. The Moai statues, which are actually sentinels, standing on a wall in front of hundreds of souls, which are represented as these small mounds. The numinous dimension is where our soul floats in stasis. We are taking a journey to discover these monolith sentinels and this dimensional field. The works of Vincent van Gogh from the years of 1881 to 1890 was, I believe, pointing to this numinous dimension, subliminally aligning the subconscious. Here are two detailed sentinel faces as a background. Another face amongst the trees on a wall facing a field. The Langley Bridge at Arles was a turning point that we will be returning to. Speaking of a turning point, a famous starry night. This one over the Rhone. And again, the monoliths on a wall in front of a floating field of light. The subtlety of these two pieces, where the statues are hardly noticeable, contrasts this next offering that alludes to the ascension to the dimension of the Most High, with the Christ-like figure amongst the floating clouds of light, serving in the name of God, consciousness, higher vibe power, the Force. Returning to the Langley Bridge, painted in 4 different versions, is not just of a bridge, but the painting is a bridge, an optical illusion to reset the visible to the invisible. A more contemporary retelling of the numinous dimension is the 1968-2001 A Space Odyssey book and film, which is also about rebirth. On page 209 from the 2001 novel, Van Gogh, Bridge at Arles, was hanging on a wall. I checked every frame. The painting isn't in the movie. It's me. And for years, I worked at what to do with this overwhelming experience. I was frustrated. The works of Van Gogh were painted more beautifully than I ever could. And I was just kind of stuck. Until I met the local and international known sculptor, the late John Soderbergh, who inadvertently led me to understanding that a picture is flat on a wall, telling the story, but the sculpting is the story, is the space. The 2001 novel goes on. For many minutes, Bowman did not move from his seat. He half expected this vision around him to go away, but it seemed as solid as anything he had ever seen in his life. This passage briefly describes my own journey into the numinous dimension. My experience was similar. Seated in a chair, these asteroids that started out as dust transparently moved around me. After a minute or two, the vastness of this asteroid field kept unfolding and giving me the sensation that I was moving into these floating clouds of light. I began to see a wall with graphene monoliths, older and more real than anything ever known, going by in the distance, like I was looking out the window of a slow-moving train. The motion began to end as I witnessed the slowing, then became stationary. Just as I was getting my bearings, my name is bellowed from one of the sentinel monoliths. A holy shit moment. Startled and standing, I began to notice this glowing light pod at my feet. There was movement within the floating oval cloud, a rustling figure under the foggy veil, and I recognized a face, my face, prepubescent, making all the human expressions but without emotion. This took all but a minute, and so beautiful was this creature, and I accepted to be the one to care for this child. As this realization was happening, the dimension slowly began to fade from appearance. This is a rare event, an uncommon journey of discovery. But I'm not alone with this experience. I'm of the passionate few that's wanting to recreate an environment, a traveling exhibit of the numinous dimension.